All right, good morning, and today we are going to be making unstuffed cabbage rolls, and we're going to be using our slow cooker today. And what we've already started with is a pound of ground chuck, and we browned it. And what were the spices that you put in where you were browning it, Tim?
Salt, pepper, and garlic powder.
Salt, pepper, and garlic powder. How much of each? Just sprinkle some in. It doesn't have to be exact. And then this is actually my granddaughter. She's staying with us for a couple days. This is Raina. Say hello, Raina.
Hi.
And what we're going to need also is a family-size tomato soup, a family-size cream of mushroom soup. We're going to need some white vinegar. We need some cabbage. Anything else? Let's take a look. Oh, we need some brown sugar, but I don't make brown sugar, or I don't buy brown sugar anymore. I make it all the time. And all you need is sugar and molasses to make some, and I'll show you how to do that. And then also we need some baby back ribs to go in this recipe as well. That's the smaller ribs, not the bigger ribs. So let's go ahead and get started. Tim already browned up the hamburger. And what are we going to do next? The rice?
Rice is almost done.
Rice is already almost done, and then we're going to cut up the cabbage, and I'll get that started now. I'm going to show you how you make brown sugar. You have to actually move back, though, because they can't see it. You take the sugar, and we're going to put just a little bit of molasses. And I would say for a couple tablespoons, we're only going to do about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Then we just keep smashing it around until it's all blended. And you can see how it's starting to incorporate. And I know this seems like a lot of work, but honestly it's amazing how much money I save by doing this. And I always have molasses on hand anyhow, because you can use molasses when you're doing baked beans. You can do it when you're making recipes.
I like to get things set up. I don't like working where you're scrambling around. I want an assembly line. So I'm going to open the soup and get these two soups in a bowl so I can mix them together. So we're going to get that done. I love cabbage rolls, and I used to watch my mother when she made cabbage rolls. She'd sit for 2-3 hours rolling cabbage rolls, just sitting there and make hundreds of them, put them in the freezer and give them to people. And I said, Tim's not doing that. Tim's doing everything in a crock pot, because I'm not sitting for 2 hours rolling cabbage rolls. But my moms were the best. But this is an easy recipe. Once it gets in the crock pot, set it and forget it. The recipe's 5 hours. I let it go 6. I found that 5 hours wasn't enough. I like my cabbage really nice and soft, and I like the ribs falling apart. Now that we got our soup in the bowl, we're going to add our 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. We're going to add our 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and then we'll mix this. Make sure you use white vinegar. Okay, now we got that in there. We'll just mix this to combine it. And then we'll start cutting the cabbage. We'll cut the ribs in pieces, and then we'll get this all in the crock pot. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some sauce on the bottom of the crock pot. And then just spread that around. So you got at least a layer on the bottom. Then what we're going to do is my granddaughter is going to assist me, and she's going to take a couple of handfuls of that cabbage and put it in there. You can use both hands. There you go. That's good. Okay, then we're going to add some ground beef. And we're going to add some rice. We're going to mix that around on top of there. And then this is where I don't want to wash my hands again, so I'll use a fork.
All right, we had some technical difficulties right after they got the first layer done. So it's basically just like a lasagna. You're going to layer it. You take the first layer that they did, you're just going to do the same layer again until you get to the top, and then they put the cabbage and they put the sauce and then put it on here. It is set on high, and we're going to cook that for 6 hours so that it's nice and tender and everything is cooked together and incorporated.
And it's easy.
Okay, it's been about 3 hours that this has been cooking. And I just want to mix this a little bit because it's starting to cook down. And I want to make sure all this is in there so it's cooking even. Look how good that's starting to look. Oh. Okay, all we're going to do is we're just going to mix this up so we can get everything off the bottom and get this combined a little better. And it smells good, it looks good, and the ribs are starting to fall apart. Everything is done. Our unstuffed cabbage rolls look awesome. Oh, it smells so good. And we have our mashed potatoes. So we're going to plate some of this stuff up. I like putting my potatoes in the middle of the plate. Then I put this right on top. How good does that look? Man, you gotta try this. This is easy to make. It doesn't take that long. Let me get a rib. They're falling apart. How's that for good looking dinner?
See you on the next video.